Hello and welcome to sunny San Diego. My name is Manisha Dariyan. I am the very fortunate guest today to be able to welcome you to the WUL Championship. Alongside my co-host.
I am Katie Killebrew, and I'm very excited to see here. On your screen today, you can see what the bracket looks like for our WUL Championships today.
Again, we are here with the top 4 teams from the WUL, the number 4 team playing on number 1 team today. This morning for our first game, it will be the Sidewinders versus the Seattle Tempest. You can see the standings on the right, and we'll note the Sidewinders coming in at the last second.
At the very last moment, you're right. All teams 4 through 6 all had a 2 through 4 record, and it really came down to win-loss and then point differential. That last game between Los Angeles Astra and San Francisco Falcons really mattering for the standings in this game.
It did, and an unfortunate role for me, who was at the losing end of that game. Well, not even the losing end of the game, but even then, we are so excited to bring you the Arizona Sidewinders versus Seattle Tempest, 2 incredibly teams, but quite different stylistically.
Very different teams. I think Seattle is really a history program. They have so much experience. They've been playing together for the longest. I know you have the specific stats, but how many players have played together at the middle school, high school, collegiate, club, and now pro levels, really coming together to have a system. And Arizona, alternatively, has a very varied history. They come from many different states. How many different states did you say that they're at?
Actually, 6 different states are represented on this roster, and I got to tell you, it's incredible to see this team, which started so hot at the beginning of the season and really has been very quiet at the end of the season. But I got to tell you, at this point, now coming back to the final stage at a stadium that they did very well at the beginning of the season, and now I think it's just Arizona's time to shine. They have been waiting for this moment all season.
They absolutely have, and I honestly think the weather today plays into Arizona's hands. It is quite warm today. I think the thermometer says it's 80 degrees here in sunny San Diego, but the field is actually much warmer. That turf is radiating heat back at the players. I walked out there earlier to do some interviews, and I was a little bit worried that my shoes were going to melt. I'm worried about their cleats, honestly,
I don't know, Katie.
bit.
It seems a little exaggeration, but however, I do agree with you. When you are playing on turf, when you have temperatures like this, it does really radiate that heat. You really feel it on your feet.
Exactly. And I think that Arizona just has a wealth of experience across their entire team of playing in very hot, windy conditions, which, you know, the wind is a little gusty today. I don't know that I'd call it windy so much as gusty and a little bit unpredictable. Seattle, on the other hand, I think if it was cold and misty and gusty, they would have the upper hand. But Arizona is honestly playing with nothing to lose.
Absolutely, and I think that that's what makes them so dangerous today. I mean, they are coming today really not knowing up until that game and until the last moment that they would even be in this game. And for them to be able to rally, bring this roster out today, and really understand that they are here with an incredible fan base back home who I know is watching.
I mean, they also have an incredible fan base right here in the stands. If there is any fan base that has the most aggro fans in that they absolutely deeply love the Sidewinders, it is their fan base. They have mascots, they have big heads, they are out in force in every single home game.
And so right now, for folks at home, for those of you who have not seen a WUL game before, and I hope you have, this is the rule set that you are seeing in front of you right now. Again, this is a still self-officiated game. We do have observers. Players are required to make their own foul calls. Observers only come in if an agreement can't be reached. Some of the differentials that you see in the rule set here from what you might think of other aspects of the game is that we are playing on an 80-yard field. So it's 10 yards longer than the normal, what we consider USAU considered fields. But the big thing is this is a timed game. This is 12-minute quarters. Clock will stop every time a point is scored except for the last 2 minutes, in which case it'll stop on every call and every time the disc goes out of bounds. But here's the big thing. When the quarter ends, play will continue. Play does not stop until the possession ends. We are not having buzzer beaters unless we go to overtime. And folks, it would be really exciting to see this game go to overtime, I got to tell you.
It really would. There's such athletic players on both sides who really, you know, when they are on a hot streak, making those defensive plays, anything could really happen in this game, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
And right now what you are seeing is McLaughlin, who is one of the leading goal scorers, if not the leading goal scorer for Arizona, ended the season with 12 goals and 12 assists. Really an all-around player, someone who is incredibly dangerous downfield, and certainly someone I think they will be relying on heavily, knowing that Lauren Doyle is not playing until tomorrow.
Exactly. Jade McLaughlin really gets involved on both sides of the disc. They're a player who sometimes you lose track of in the middle of a point, and then, like the Snakes, the Sidewinders are like that. They just make an attack right out of the grass to make a big play.
But again, you cannot underestimate Seattle. This is a team that, if you saw the point differential, has been dominant all season. And this is a team that has an incredible depth to them. When we are talking about the players of Tempest, we are talking about Cheryl Sue, who ended right now with 13 assists on the season. You're talking about a cutter like Sam Rodenberg, who finished in with 17 goals, second overall in this league coming into today's game. And so as we get the introduction of players right now, this is going to be a really incredible, fun game to watch, y'all. Again, different styles for both of these teams. Seattle is a team that is very quick, loves to use quick movements, loves to strike up line and strike those little inside-out throws to their handlers. But more importantly, you look at a team like Arizona and a team that just relies so much on a deep look. And right now you're seeing Cheryl Sue, again, the person who I identified as leading the team with 13 assists so far this season. And it's an incredible testament. I mean, you have two other handlers also who finished with more than 10 assists, which included Gina Titcomb with 11 and Jennifer Ricarte with 10, in fact.
Yeah, also on your screen there, you're seeing Jamie Erickson. Jamie is going to be one of the keys for them as a cutting receiver. I think she had 12 goals so far, and I would be looking for her to add to that total very much in this game.
And the reason we're giving you these names, y'all, is that if you have not had a chance to do it, and unfortunately it's just a little too light, there has been a fantasy game that's been happening all season where folks have been offering their picks of who is going to shine for this weekend's games. And I got to tell you, if you're looking at some of these numbers, I think we've already identified some of those.
Yeah, I think maybe fantasy is locked in, but if you have a last-minute moment to go get your fantasy picks in, you can use our picks or Manisha's picks. Manisha really locking down that fantasy game.
I mean, I got to tell you, just the fact that we had statistics available, so readily available on the website, was such an incredible testament, one, to the amount of work the WUL has been putting in to highlight these players. It's not enough to know their names, but to be able to tell you this is how many goals, how many assists, how many blocks that these players have, just really underscores how incredibly talented these players are.
Exactly, and I think that because we're not seeing the same, storied college programs, we're not seeing those things over and over again. You're getting to see players who maybe didn't play at a high-level collegiate school and really highlighting the athleticism of players who've been playing for a longer time, new people on the scene, really changing the face of women's ultimate. But when I was talking earlier down on the field with the players, I was talking with Gina Titcomb, and she wanted to make sure that we highlighted the fact that there's so many players who started trying to make a professional league in 2017, right? Mm-hmm. And now we're this many years later, many of these players have been working for many years to make this happen, and they're just grateful to be out here playing. This is so exciting to see, to have a whole league, a championship series here with players of excellent, amazing caliber.
And that's the thing, though. What you're saying holds so true for Arizona in particular.
Yes.
A team that really has banded together a number of women and folks from different communities, different teams. And again, to see the amount of success they had very early in the season. And I do not think that's a fluke, y'all. I think that what we get to see is really a second chance for Arizona to demonstrate that they were the team that everyone was actually afraid of at the beginning of the year. Again, if you recall, we started this season with the Winter Cup. That was a marquee event where we had all of the teams here back in December. And if you didn't get a chance to watch, know that all of these games are available free via Ulti World. And they are, of course, providing our coverage for this weekend as well. And we could not do this without them. So clearly, even now, before we get started, it's certainly important to make sure that we recognize and acknowledge that their partnership here has been able to bring these games to you at home.
Yeah, and they're providing really great coverage. The WUL is also really committed to highlighting women in all different aspects, so you can hear that we are an all-female commentator team, and we will also have an all-female observer team here today.
I know, it's incredibly exciting. I know that those four, I was talking with them earlier, they're both excited and, of course, nervous because they understand the weight of this type of moments. Like, you know, this is the start of something, and we need to know how high this is going to go. And right now, this is going to be the way we start to see it.
Exactly. I love that they're highlighting all of these players, all standing out there celebrating with each other, and really getting ready for this moment. We're about to have a game. I wanted to highlight for the Sidewinders that they have such buy-in, right? They come from many different places, and not necessarily having the same amount of chemistry that players who've played together since middle school in Seattle may have, but they have absolutely bought into the idea of coming together and working for this team, for Sidewinders, for the WUL, to grow opportunities for women from the Southwest, to have opportunities to play at this high level, to be highlighted on a national stage. And I was talking with Melissa Dunn and LP Aragon, and they're just so grateful to be here. They didn't know they were going to be here. And it's just, I think sometimes when you grieve the end of a season and then all of a sudden you get to play again, that amount of grateful energy. You can see number 11, Aragon, there is doing the coin flip, but they are truly grateful to be here and have nothing to lose. And that kind of energy, I'm excited to play.
I certainly. And so right now what you are seeing is the coin flip. So again, if you are not familiar with the rule set, the teams will be able to decide whether they are receiving or pulling.
So Seattle's receiving, so you have your flip sides.
And of course, which end zone you will be starting in. So what you are seeing the observers do is signaling that Arizona will be pulling to Seattle.
Game disc.
And again, you can start to see a little glimpse of our 4 female all-observer crew. And of course, what you see are the captains. Those are the ones who are responsible for our flip and are going to be responsible for getting us started in today's game. You know, so I want to go back to your point about like Arizona being grateful to be here. I really wish we should use a different word. I think that they know they deserve to be. That's what I think. I think that I know there was a weird point differential. I know that the Falcons made it very exciting. But this is a team that really, to your point, was actually so disappointed with the end of their season because they understand and knew the potential. You're bringing in players from 6 different states, a couple players from Colorado, 2 players from New Mexico, a player from Massachusetts. And you're right, there was an incredible amount of buy-in. And so the opportunity now to be able to finish this season the way that they thought they should, because they thought they should be here.
I agree, and they should, but my other point would be that there's a lot more parity in the league than they thought. There were many close games. There were some games that had more, but it really came down to a couple points in each game, and I think that that's what we want to see in a league. We want to see a league where every game matters. The extra points that you score do matter.
Yeah, and
anybody could have a chance to go anywhere. It could have been Los Angeles, it could have been Falcons, it could have been Utah Wild. It really could be any of those 7 teams in this last spot, and I think that Arizona is ready.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you are thinking you are one of those teams, if you are Utah Wild, if you're Los Angeles Astro, if you are the San Francisco Falcons, you're sitting here watching it saying, hey, Arizona, we're rooting for you right now.
Exactly.
All right, and then here is your starting lineup. Again, we are having Arizona pulling, so this is a defensive line to start. Again, we see Melissa Dunn, Cody Lippincott, who again has just been so quiet and I really believe is poised to just blow up today.
Yeah, if you don't know Cody Lippincott's name, you may look back at that highlight reel play, that ESPN Top 10 Sports Center play that player made out. Shelby Petty, Megan Maxfield, they're looking to make big things, and that is the first pole going up.
And right now the disc starts a little bit past half field, and you can already see that upline cut coming from Kawhi. Kawhi looking deep immediately, just carrying a little too far. Excellent D to start for Arizona. And again, Seattle starting with very fast offense. That is what they are known for. That is how they end up just racking up those points so quickly.
You can see a group of Seattle players over there. I wonder if they are immediately putting on a almost zone look.
They are putting a zone look right now. So what you're seeing is a 3-person cup right now, and now we have our Arizona players just kind of popping into that, looking for the space to be able to attack beyond this line. Unfortunately trapped on the corner right now, and then we see a breakthrough to the middle of the field. Now we're finally off to the big side of the field, and Seattle has now turned back to a person defense. And there you go, Cody Lippincott trying to get the disc, and now we're seeing Arizona go back to their, just a little bit behind.
That was a very aggressive offensive, defensive look from Seattle to immediately come out in a zone when they started on offense.
And Seattle immediately looking for the end zone right now. Sees an open player downfield and does come down with the score and the hold. And I honestly cannot even see the numbers right now.
Yeah, it's probably very bright on your screen, but it's bright for us that turf field is reflecting back up.
But again, we're seeing this very aggressive style coming out of Seattle. They pick it up, they're looking. That deep look came in both instances off to basically the third pass.
Yeah, they are not waiting. They are not waiting to set up. They're not waiting to run deep. They are ready to go.
And that was Linnea Sue with the grab in the end zone. Again, already just streaking deep, knowing that they are looking for that deep look. All right, well, again, that was not even a clean hold if you're Seattle. So if you're Arizona, you're like, hey, listen, we got a turnover on them. Now it's our turn to hold. Again, you see Linnea Sue on the screen right now.
Yeah, big pull from Chena Tickum.
And the disc now in the middle of the field. You're seeing Aragon in the middle of the field. Pump fakes it, trying to get the disc around. Again, this is a 7-second stall. Nice grab there by Marilyn Reich. Back to the middle of the field, coming back to Corley Steiner. Inside out break. Holding a little too long. Resets back down to Steiner. Steiner looking to the middle of the field. Unfortunately, just a little bit behind. And that was Sam Rogenberg with the D. And we are seeing Stephanie Lim pick up this disc, looking immediately down to Chena Titcomb. Chena now to the sideline to Sam Rodenberg. Stays inbound, really nice grab there by Margot Urim. And that was another Seattle score. Again, very fast, immediately now with the break. That was, in that case, Gellert with the score. First score for Gellert.
Yeah, and that was Aubrey Dietrich there, really close to the D. I just don't think knew that disc was in the air right next to them.
It was. The problem was just a little bit behind.
Yeah, we've seen maybe a little nerves in the beginning of this game, right? Both teams ready to play, although Arizona was here an hour and a half before game time running drills, getting ready to move, and Seattle was here only 45 minutes beforehand. I don't think they wanted to spend an extra moment in the heat.
Well, it's not even that. I think there's always a debate of how much time you actually spend warming up and what is the ideal time. I know that was one of the questions asked of our players on the Instagram takeovers about what is the ideal amount of time, and I think Seattle is pretty convinced it needs to be less.
That is fair. That's a take. We'll see how that works out for both of these teams.
All right, another chance for Arizona now to get on the board. The disc really well pulled, almost to the end zone, now just centered to the middle of the field. And they are back into that zone look. And you can hear on the field, I'm not sure if you can hear it, they're saying D2. What that means is Seattle is now moving out of their zone look, now going back into person defense. Arizona now trying to set up their offense. You see Thomas going upfield. Wow! So if you didn't see that, well, I hope we get that on the replay. That was Thomas trying to save the disc and now puts it up. Helen Eifert with the deep look. And we are seeing some really hanging throws. Unfortunately, this was a great opportunity for Arizona to score, but I gotta say that was an incredible offensive sequence, starting with Thomas putting the disc back in. We call that a greatest.
In ultimate, yeah, when you start inbounds and jump out of bounds to throw, catch and throw before hitting the ground. I think number 77, Cynthia Thomas, is a player to look at. That player can absolutely take over and change the momentum of this game.
And now you see Cheryl Sue getting the disc up line and, of course, immediately looking deep. Unfortunately, the edge of that throw just tailing away from the Tempest receiver, giving Arizona another chance to this point. Pick up the disc. They are playing person now, so Arizona just has to figure out and find their offense, find their spacing. Effort looking upfield. Oh, just a little too far.
And it's hard to tell up here, but just in the booth, we got a big gust of wind. I'm wondering if that's something that they're experiencing down on the field as well, that's affecting those throws.
Cheryl Sue immediately picking up, looking upfield, and now we see a deep look again. connecting this time. This is now a quick 3-0 start for Seattle. And again, unfortunately, I still cannot see on the field who scored that.
I'm pretty sure that that was Jamie Erickson with that light reddish blonde ponytail flying behind her, getting ready to go catch that score. She definitely has a nose for the end zone. And Seattle, when they get that break, that defensive line is immediately ready.
That was the greatest, what you were seeing from Thomas, being able to grab the disc, throw it back in bounds. We see a second angle of it, the crowd reacting on the sideline, and then we see the deep look for the score to Erickson. Erickson hauling that in, just having to reach to be able to get that goal. But
I think that might be the first midfield greatest I've seen. I've seen them in the end zone, but maybe not in the midfield.
Hey, when you need the disc, you got to keep the disc. All right, Arizona, another chance to be able to get back on the board right now. We are now hearing Seattle playing a force middle, which is why you're hearing the home and away calls in the back of the foreground. And Arizona looking for some open space, finding an open player downfield, now resetting back over to Jade McLaughlin. McLaughlin holding the disc, looking for a reset. Got a reset out of Aragon. Aragon now sending it back a little bit too far. Unfortunate drop. It was a little bit too far for McLaughlin, and the help just was not able to come in time. That was Paige Lynn being able to pick it up. Now Linnea Sue with the disc. Linnea giving it to Shira Stern. My apologies. And just a little too far. Arizona now with another chance. Looking in the middle of the field. That was Alex Daniels. Alex Daniels looking for, I can't even see who has the disc right now.
I think it's Katie Winterbottom with the disc there. Back to Aragon. I really want Aragon to start taking over in this game. This is a defense that is really sitting on underneath, trying to get those run-through Ds, and the upfield, the handlers are going to have to get moving in order to keep this Arizona offense alive.
Well, it's not even that. You have to attack the middle of the field as the disc starts to change the force. And then you can see how there are open people. Oh, nice grab by Jade McLaughlin. Jade putting it deep, just a little too far outside the end zone.
It's like Arizona is throwing to their players, and they think that they are much taller than they actually are.
Well, no, you want to put it ahead of the Tempest defense, right? Because that Tempest defense really is playing in that pocket, and you have to put the disc a little bit higher and outside so the D has a chance to really get the D. So now we're seeing Arizona's play a little bit of a miscue right there for Tempest, giving Arizona a disc right on the sideline and right in front of the goal line. That is Carly Steiner picking up the disc. Carly holding the disc just on the corner of the end zone, about 5 yards side. We see two upline cuts. It is an unfortunate stall.
I think both of those players would like that back. An uncharacteristic turn from Lynn and then a stall from Steiner.
And now looking to the middle there, that was Abby Abramovich looking to the middle of the field. Sees Hannah Kawai. Hannah throwing it to the far side of the field. And we are hearing a timeout call. If you did not hear what that whistle is, that's a timeout call. What that means is that both teams have a chance to sub all their players if they so choose, but it'll also reset the stall count. Right now, Seattle holding the disc just outside of the end zone line with 80 yards to go, giving a chance for perhaps an offensive line to be put in for Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the use of the timeouts in the WUL rule set is very interesting. I know that it's some players' favorite rule change, that you can sub out those players. If somebody is feeling hot, they can stay. If somebody's very tired, they can come off. It's definitely a choice of, if you're starting on offense, do you keep that offensive line out, let them score? Do you want them to get a D? And it will be interesting to see what these teams choose, although it looks like both teams are changing their line almost entirely.
I mean, I would. That was a pretty long point. We're already halfway through the first quarter, and that last point has been lasting a couple minutes. So with the amount of turns given, it's not at all surprising Seattle took that timeout. Wants to put an offensive focus line now out. Arizona wanting to ensure that they get the stop. They're so close to the end zone in the promised land. Really want to make sure that they try and get that turnover early.
Yeah, and the momentum has all been in Seattle's favor at the moment, but it's only a 3-0 game, right? A score here by Arizona brings it to 3-1. Very manageable in this timed game.
Absolutely. Okay, so the disc now reinserted back in, goes to the far side of the field. That was Chena Tickum. And again, you see the immediate D. Great work. Immediate D now looks like Sidewinders about 15 yards just outside the end zone, picking it up, trapped on the sideline. Not a place Arizona really wants to be, wants to get it off. Unfortunate turnover. It was just a little too low to be able to get to the center of the field. Now Chena Tickum with the disc on the far sideline, centering back over to the middle, getting the up line. Again, you see this very offensive juggernaut that is handlers for Seattle. And then they get this wide open spaces. Oh, once again, just a quick, unfortunate turnover. Arizona with another chance to be able to try and punch it back in. We're seeing an upline look just outside.
Timeout called. 2 in the same point.
It happens. I mean, this is a really big point. To your point, this is a point that Arizona does believe it needs to score right now. And Arizona now taking the timeout. That point in and of itself right now, probably about 6 or 7 turnovers, but something that Arizona now is going to take the 60 seconds. Taking the 60 seconds just to regroup, put players back in if they need to. And if you have not been checking out the gear that Arizona is wearing, it is currently on your screen. There is some debate that they might have the best jerseys. I don't know.
I mean, they have pretty good jerseys. I think that their smiles are really selling it in this particular photo, though.
Well, in addition to their jerseys, there's a bunch of other gear that the Sidewinders are selling, which includes the Support Women's Sports merch. If you'd like to either go to the WUL website or to the Arizona Sidewinders website, you can find their gear. Not to forget, we also have Seattle Tempest. Their gear is available at seattletempest.com.
I can tell you as a player that there's nothing quite as special as being on the field and seeing a fan wearing your jersey with your name and your number on it. I didn't know that that was a thing that I wanted to have happen, and it was really special when it happened. So if you want to have that experience for another player, you should buy the jersey as we come back into play here.
Again, stuck on the sideline, Aragon coming back, now in the middle of the field, a much better place for Arizona to be. Arizona swinging now to the far side, to our side over here. That's Cam Helm with the disc. Helm throwing over to Marilyn Reich. Reich tried to sneak it in, unfortunate drop. That was their chance. Hopefully they'll get another one.
Yeah, Liz Murphy, I think, would like to have that back, although it was a little bit behind her and very rushed.
Well, it was a very small window. All right, Seattle now in the disc. Garrity back to the middle of the field. Looking for the upline cut. Doesn't have it. Swings around. Looking for the deep look. That's caught by Lexi Garrity, looking down to the middle of the field. That was Sharon Sow with the disc. And now we have a deep look. Great, great grab. That was just an incredible point by Lexi Garrity. Pretty much got it every other, understood how to use space, and then just struck deep at the perfect amount of time. Great cut.
Yeah, Lexi Garrity is really a master of space. It's a player who really finds the rhythm of the team she's playing with, finds the space, and gives really good options. If you see Lexi Garrity cutting for you, you're like, well, of course I would throw it to you.
Well,
of course I would.
In the middle of the field. And that was the first deep look. That was Lexi with the grab, with pressure from Helen Eifert, centering the disc, and then just immediately off the races, off of your screen, and now you see the deep look for Garrity.
Yeah, Eifert was also a question mark at the beginning of this game, struggling with some knee pain, and it was very touch or go right until the end if they were going to use her in this game or put in one of their reserve players.
Well, I know Helen Eifert takes her play very seriously, and I know is probably kicking themselves right now for not being able to get either of those discs. All right, Arizona getting the disc center into the middle of the field. And we are seeing Seattle come down in a person defense right now. Cody getting a nice underneath. Now to the corner of the field. That's Kay Powell. Kay Powell back to Cody. Disc now in Peyton Kaiser's hand. Kaiser back to Aragon. Sorry, that was Powell to Aragon.
Big throw from LP Aragon to Dietrich.
And there's the catch, and now Arizona on the board.
Oh, that's got to feel so good for the Sidewinders. You can see how pumped they are running out to support that score. That's the most alive I've seen them so far this game, and that's kind of energy they'll need to bring in order this game. It is 4-1, and there's about 2.5 minutes left on this. What a picture-perfect huck.
And you know, Aragon, if you're thinking strategically what they need to do, Aragon's got to take looks like that. Really got to put some deep looks up. They have excellent receivers on the Sidewinders, and sometimes, especially against a team like Seattle, you really got to air it out.
Yeah, Seattle is a smart team, and they will know that the more throws that they make Arizona throw, the higher it is likely that they're going to make a mistake or they're going to get a D on those small throws. And breaking it, wanting to have it be.
All right, now Arizona with the pull. Just picked up by Seattle, centering to Steph Lim. Steph Lim looking downfield, finding a receiver in Francis Gellert. Gellert looking for Sam Rodenberg. Sam back to Slim. Back up line. Oh, hung a little bit. Slim now, the movement of Slim is just incredible. And now you see Rodenberg streaking for the end zone. On the inside out break. Catches made. And they do call it a goal.
Yeah, I think the line is that white line. Sam Rodenberg clearly on the side of the white line, even though that yellow line looks a little bit more prominent maybe on your screen. A very physical play there by Melissa Dunn, trying to get that D.
I mean, you got to go for every D at this point. I get it safely, of course.
Yes.
But that was an inside-out break. I mean, the defense is on the right side, but that throw just snuck in there. We're about to see that replay. First of all, great grab by Rodenberg. And again, you're seeing basically Rodenberg and Steph Lim really just kind of going every other. And then Cassie Wong sneaking that throw in there. Fun fact, Cassie Wong is the oldest person on the Seattle team.
That is a fun fact. I would not have guessed that.
It makes me feel very old.
It makes me very excited for the amount of really great D plays that I see from Cassie Wong making. A real person to idolize if you're a young defensive player.
Definitely. So the pull is out of bounds, which means Arizona will be starting in the disc in the middle of the field, commonly known as the brick.
You may not be able to see them on your screen because they are so far on the other side and blending in with the sideline, but they are in a side stack over there.
And again, Seattle coming back out with that three-person cup, forcing Arizona to, Katie, to your point, just lots of throws. They know lots of throws is their bread and butter. Arizona finding an open person downfield. That was Jade McLaughlin looking for the deep look. Great grab, dumping it back off. You have two receivers downfield looking for the space. Oh, unfortunate. That was Deed. It looks like Ari Lozano came through with that.
Yeah, it was such good work all the way up there and then trying to thread it through at the last moment. Seattle says no, no.
Great deep look. Unfortunately, just a little too far. Arizona now has about 50 yards to go to try and see if they can get another score before the end of this quarter. Again, you see Aragon deciding, let's just air it out. And we have a receiver downfield. You have two Seattle players in that space. Arizona comes down with the score. That's Carly Steiner with their first score of the quarter and of the game.
I said earlier that I wanted LP Aragon to take over and start making those. You said that that player needed to make deep throws. I think we were both right on that one, seeing how Arizona is scoring. I was looking at the handler reset that LP was looking at, and honestly, everyone running away from her. I think they knew more than we did.
They don't, but that's okay.
Maybe they could see more from their perspective.
And here's the thing, I want to credit Seattle for, one, being conscientious of where the receiver was, understanding that the disc was hanging. Now, in fairness, Aragon putting it out ahead of Seattle, Seattle trying to close that gap, but I appreciate that last second recognition by Sharon Sow. Hey, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to make a play on that. Great grab.
Yeah, great grab by Carly Steiner, who's a player for, I think, Los Angeles Rampage. Usually a handler, and in that case, just making use of the deep space.
All right, now Seattle with a chance to try and close out this quarter. We only have about 55 seconds left on the clock. Seeing a big huck. hanging in the air right now. Oh, just unfortunate misread slightly there by number 26, Alex Chang, out of Arizona. It just hung and just...
Really well read by Amy Kawai right there.
Definitely. Kawai, one of 2 sisters playing on this roster today. They're actually 4 years apart, fun fact.
I'm glad they didn't try to play together.
I don't think they could, right? I think they both went to Brown. If I'm not mistaken, they both went to Brown University, but missed each other because they're 4 years apart.
I know, but I'm saying, can you imagine both of them on the same team? That would have been a terror for every other college team to try to deal with.
It's true, but on the other hand, you're like, this person never leaves.
How are they still playing?
Right.
As
Just
a coach,
a very good read by Amy Kawai there.
Yeah. Very aggressive. You know, Seattle could have taken the opportunity to run out the clock, get done with that point, and end that quarter, but they tried to score very quickly. I think only, maybe 10 seconds came off the clock in that
It did,
point.
and according to, I know this is about to show up on your screen, 48 seconds left in this quarter. Again, the quarter will end with a possession, loss of possession. So Arizona can either try and score quickly, which if I'm Arizona, I'm telling them to do it, or they score after the quarter ends, not giving Seattle a chance to score. Aragon again, unleashing another huck, looking downfield, and unfortunate drop. That was
Dietrich again. I have never seen a player run backwards for so long trying to receive a disc.
Unfortunately, if she just turned her hips, would have probably been able to come down with that. And now we have Chena Titcomb with 9 seconds on the clock. Seattle with a chance to be able to end this quarter with a score. And now well, it looks like the turn happened just before the end of the quarter. It means Arizona has 1 chance to score. Arizona puts it up and comes down with the score. All right, Shelby Petty just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it.
That is such a big swing for Arizona to get the D so quickly, or to force a turn so quickly and actually get another point on the turn. It's one of the things in the rule set that suddenly that clock running out and maintaining that possession means it could be an extra swing of momentum, and such a good momentum for for Arizona coming out of that first quarter.
And it was just an immediate pickup. And it's funny because I don't know if Arizona realized that they actually had all the time in the world for that. But you know what? Strike while it's hot.
I can't disagree with that at all. I like that aggressive offensive movement off of a turn.
And so this is the end of the first quarter, y'all. We will see you back here in 2 minutes. Seattle leading. And welcome back to the WUL semifinal, the first matchup between number 1 seeded Seattle Tempest versus number 4 seeded Arizona Sidewinders. We were just talking about how I like to track goals because I'm naturally a cutter. But I got to tell you right now, having 9 points scored, we have 9 different goal scorers here. 3 different goal scorers for Arizona, including Dietrich, Steiner, and Petty. On the Seattle side, 6 goal scorers in Linnea Sue, Gellert, Erickson, Garrity, Sam Rodenberg, and Amy Kawai.
Yeah, both teams using their depth to score, but I think that Dietrich really wants that one back. Running back backwards to try to get a disc, really messing up LP Aragon's hucking stats.
I know.
There.
I already had Aragon scoring 3 assists in this game, and already Aragon with 2 in the first quarter.
Pull goes up from Erickson.
And landing out of bounds once again, giving Arizona a chance to be able to set up from a dead disc. Aragon centering it with the middle of the field. Again, if I'm Arizona, I'm giving the disc to Aragon.
I agree. That seems like a good move so far. Oh no, commentators cursed.
We just cursed, yep.
We did.
All right, it was just a little too far on the inside-out break, giving Arizona a turn. At this point now, Seattle just trying to move very quickly. You see Cheryl throwing it inside. Oh, that was a great put there. That was Tiffany Fan with the huck, looking downfield. Goal scored by, I cannot see on the screen, I got to tell you.
That was really good movement. I'm really impressed with Seattle's ability to have a turn happen and not panic at all, just move into flowing offense so quickly, hitting that middle of the, and then a deep cut coming from the far side, really into space. Tiffany Fan with the assist there, just
and that was
so
Sharon
smooth.
Sow with the score there. And so that means right now, if you're paying attention, that is the 7th unique Tempest player to score in this game so far.
I like that stat. That's a fun stat for me. I think I really want to see Seattle keep doing what they're doing. Keep going hard. As soon as there's a turn, it's really punishing Arizona's pace in this game.
I mean, it is what made Seattle so dangerous. It's their ability to just score off of turns. Again, Seattle coming down with that 3-person cup, forcing Arizona to have to swing laterally in order to either go around the cup or through the cup. We are seeing with Arizona start with 3 players back. I know that some teams like to play 4 back or 2 back. Seattle going to stay with this. Oh, an unfortunate drop by Eifert. Seattle now coming here to pick up. Hannah Kawai holding the disc. Hannah looking to the middle of the field. Again, going up line. Looking for that up line. Finding the inside out break. That's a really nice break. Now the disc just outside the end zone. Not enough curl on that throw. And now you see an Arizona player striking deep. Effort trying to throw that. Look, just too far, unfortunately, there.
Yeah,
but
I would want to see a replay of that. That might have been a point block. The way that the disc moved back over there, I think that maybe somebody got a piece of that finally.
maybe. I just don't know if that angle was even throwable, to be honest. All right, Helm marking right now. Seattle with the disc. Got about 60 yards to go. Seattle very content with sort of attacking the middle of the field. Ricarte now with the disc. Ricarte passing it off. Finding Amy Kawai, the far side of the field. Trap, undercut, very nice D there by Aaron Donahue. Donahue now holding, great grab. Are they gonna call a timeout? They only have 7 seconds. Not really sure what's gonna happen here. There it is, heard the timeout. Great call, again, with a 7-second stall. When you have a deep look like that and you're by yourself, you can't be looking downfield. You gotta basically be looking back at your teammates saying, someone get this disc for me.
Absolutely, that's 7 seconds. Sometimes feels like it goes faster than other times, and that's one of the moments when you've caught it deep by yourself and you're waiting patiently for a teammate.
Again, that disc just hanging long enough there for the grab. And now you'll see Arizona likely bringing on new players. We are seeing McLaughlin, we're seeing Aragon likely coming back onto the field to be able to just hopefully punch this in and keep Arizona in this game.
Exactly. I would expect to see a different line from Seattle as well. I think I see Chena Titcombe out there, and I don't remember them being on the point before. I think both coaches using the timeouts very well, keeping some of their offensive players, really keeping that momentum and calm energy with their strong handlers, and putting on new defenders in order to hopefully for Arizona cement this score after that really great deep run.
And again, what I was hoping Arizona would see is that is how they're going to stay in this game. It's going to be deep looks. It's going to be out to space. Trust those receivers to run these things down.
Yeah, you're not going to out Seattle.
You really can't.
No.
All right. Well, in this case, we're going to see Aragon picking up the disc. We're going to see Steph Lim guarding Aragon. Chena Titcomb guarding the mark against Carly Steiner. Really great defensive players in their own right. See the up line. Aragon looking cross field. Just really didn't have anyone, unfortunately. You know, it really starts with that first look. Again, with only 7 seconds, if you don't have that first look available, it really forces the thrower to have to look at some unideal looks. Chena Titcomb now picking the disc up. Chena picking up the disc then, looking for Margaret Urheim. Frances Gellert hitting Chena Titcomb up line. Chena now looking, swinging back to the middle of the field. Now to the far side of the field, Basta Gellert. Gellert swinging it right back to the middle of the field. Looking at Julia Snyder, really trying to be the center rock in this point here. Great handler in their own right. Snyder going upfield from Steph Lim. Still continuing to track upfield. Just finding little spaces, finding Steph Lim for the goal. It's an incredibly fast movement that Seattle really just makes them just so scary to play against.
Yeah, in the 7-second stall count, if you rewatch this point later, fans of Ultimate, students of Ultimate, every time Seattle had the disc, there was always 2 options. To have 2 options timed perfectly within 7 seconds all the way down the field, using all 7 players to create space, attack different places, move their defenders. It's really a testament to full team offensive movement. None of those throws were essentially very difficult throws. They're not having to throw very far. They're not having to throw crazy inside angles. They're moving the marks with their fakes, with their body positioning, and getting open. Steph Lim is really a player to watch if you want to watch a master class in moving your mark to get the throw that you want.
And understanding the space that is left open by the defense. And if you are tracking at home, that is now the 8th individual player to score for the Seattle Tempest. All right, disc lands in the middle of the field. Arizona now centering the disc. Shelby Petty with the disc in their hand. The zone is now back for Seattle. Disc out to the far side of the field. That zone is just really, there it is. Finding those open looks, they're there. Arizona just has to find them. They are now moving into a person. Really nice look by Megan Maxfield. Maxfield holding the disc in the middle of the field. Looking for the reset. Getting it. Oh, just a little too fast, unfortunately.
Yeah, finding those small windows, but you have to make sure your receiver's ready.
Making eye contact, it's always key. Seattle now trapped on the sideline. Gets a reset valve from Cheryl Sue. Cheryl moving to the middle of the field. And then you see that deep look. Great grab by Sharon Sow. Great grab by Sharon Sow. Really understanding where that disc was going, how to hold their player off. Great grab.
That was only possible because of the angle that throw was made at. Megan Maxfield is a really great defender and was really in position on that open side. That throw went to the one minuscule pinpoint spot where that receiver could get it. That's an expert throw.
If I'm not mistaken, that was Cheryl Sue on the deep look, giving Sow their second goal of the day.
Yeah, I just want to highlight this play from Megan Maxfield, really making a defensive effort and safely bidding on that player, not creating contact, making as much of a play as they could, but still respecting the body of that player. That's really the type of defensive plays we want to see, where it's exciting, it's close, but no one's in danger of being injured.
Again, we're not even halfway through the second quarter right now. Seattle trying to widen their lead. Arizona, of course, trying to make that lead smaller. Arizona now looking back to the middle of the field. Seattle coming down once again in that 3-person zone. And just, oh, it looks like it was still caught. I apologize. I really thought that was about to be a turnover. Eifert now with the disc on the corner. They're still sitting in that zone.
Just a little bit behind. I think part of what Seattle's doing by continuing to run that zone is stop the vertical stack movement of Arizona. They've run a vertical stack all year, and really stopping them in their favorite thing, which is running and gunning in that vert stack.
Is she going to? Yes, of course. Not in. Not in. It was a great grab by Scherster. And a score by Amy Ambrotovich. Great grab. I gotta say, when that disc went up, I was like, Cher's gonna catch that. Cher's, of course, gonna catch that.
Of course, there are 3 defenders around her. I can't wait to watch the replay of that. Just textbook layout form. Really, focused on the disc, going there through the whole way. I love the energy that Seattle's bringing. They're up big in this game, and they are also continuing to just make the energy keep going.
It was such nice placement and such a great grab by Shera Stern. And we're seeing this replay again. And to your point, 3 players just only there for Shera to get the disc, just outside the end zone. Seeing another angle of that look. Great grab. If you've watched Shera play through their career, it has been, that's just what you see every time.
Yeah, I also want to highlight, because we talked about safe plays, if you rewatch that again, Helen Eifert had an opportunity to maybe try to make a defensive play there and stopped because couldn't make a play without going through Shera Stern's body, which is respecting other people's bodies as opposed to getting the disc first.
Okay,
so
Arizona now trying to claw their way back into this game. We are now seeing Seattle not play the zone, but playing person right now. Looks like they might be back to that forced middle, allowing Arizona now to finally get those lanes. I think, Katie, you were talking about that they didn't have before. Disc now on the sideline. You see an upline look, and then immediate deep look going. The disc is hanging. Unfortunately, a little too far. Seattle now picks up the D, and that's Cassie Wong with the D now coming back to the line of scrimmage. Cassie now looking downfield. Seattle was looking for the deep look. That, I think, was a point block. There you go. Arizona just outside the end zone, about 15 yards. Great grab there by Melissa Dunn. Melissa with the layout grab to be able to put Arizona now another point in this second quarter. Their first for the quarter right now.
Yeah, I think that sometimes Arizona forgets that they're a team that likes to throw deep, and when one person goes deep and no one's there, everyone looks at each other like, oh, I thought you were going deep. I thought you were going deep. And then finally in that possession, it was a really good defensive effort, and immediately you can see Melissa Dunn cutting deep and trying to get that score. That's the energy I want to see. I want to keep seeing plays like that.
Great. And then Reich with the assist in that point. Okay, now the question is, can Arizona get a block?
I don't know who it's going to be. Somebody has to, at this moment, decide it is my time to be a playmaker.
Arizona with a nice pull, just landing just in bounds. It looks like it might have slid out of bounds. Oh, it landed out of bounds. My apologies.
Observer signaling.
Just now in the center of the field. You see Arizona playing this very sag style, trying to clog up some lanes. Cheryl Sue now with the disc in the middle of the field, looking for the inside out break. Disc now to the far sideline. Sharon Sow holding the disc. Sharon Sow handing it off. Tiffany Pham with the inside out throw. Looks like that was to Lexi Garrity, and there's an injury on the play, but that is a completed catch right now by Lexi Garrity, assuming it holds.
Yeah, that looks like Megan Maxfield down. Tried to make a play on that disc and maybe hit their head on the impact with the ground.
Obviously, no one wants any injuries, particularly at the end of any season. And that inside-out break, I'm really impressed Lexi Garrity caught that disc. Looking at that replay right now, and it looks like that score does count. That is Lexi Garrity's second score of the game.
Yeah, Lexi Garrity again finding space. That was a little bit closer than I think Lexi Garrity wanted it to be, though.
I don't even know if Lexi saw that go up until the disc was already in the air and was like, uh-oh, I better go attack this space.
Exactly. Arizona not quite getting the block on that one, but a lot of really good defensive pressure. They're playing kind of this sag defense to start and be in the lanes, and I don't know that that's the call that I would make against Seattle's handlers.
Well, we'll have halftime to be able to sort of nitpick some of the decisions that are happening, but right now, Seattle really trying to pour this on. They've expanded their lead. Disc now landing near the middle of the field. Arizona looking to try and make something happen. Seattle back into that 3-person zone. Arizona continuing to just show you if they can pop through it. A little bit of a miscue between Aragon and K. Powell. Seattle now with another chance to get a break in this quarter. Far side of the field, Amy Kawhi puts the disc up, but it was just a little too low, giving Arizona another chance at life here. They are now resetting back into that 3-person zone. Arizona looking to the far side of the field. And another turn for Arizona.
Yeah, that was Kawhi just shutting down that lane.
Kawhi picking up the disc. Seattle going to start attacking up line. Sheer Stern. Back to Kawhi. Kawhi holding the disc about 20 yards outside the end zone right now, looking for the inside out break, finds the inside out, finds Shearer just outside the end zone right now. Shearer is just knocking on the door, finding Amy Kawhi. Disc hangs a little too high. Disc is turned over. Arizona getting the turn now, not just waiting for Arizona to turn it, but getting the turn. Arizona unleashing a deep look. We have a one-on-one matchup. Again, very good read there by Jade McLaughlin. Jade McLaughlin now seeing 2 receivers downfield, hitting Thomas. Thomas now in the middle of the field, wide open. Now going back to Jade McLaughlin. Maybe Jade McLaughlin looking. Now Seattle is back. They are now back to person. Disc in the middle of the field. K. Powell unmarked. Aragon now with the disc. Seattle has found all of the people they need to guard. McLaughlin now on the far side of the field, seeing a streaking up line, looking to the far side of the field. And that is a score by Cody Lippincott. First score of Cody Lippincott game for this weekend. That was a really creative look coming out of Jade McLaughlin.
Yeah, and I think that that's what Arizona is going to have to do. They're going to have to be a little bit more creative. I think that's bookends for Lippincott, who really pinpointed that disc at the other end of the end zone and then found this running all the way out to make sure that score there. Dietrich backing Cody up.
I will say, I love when throwers point to where they want you to go.
As a receiver, sometimes it's very helpful. It can be a little bit chaotic out there, especially when the defense is not matched up correctly. People are running in all sorts of unexpected places. That's exactly what you want to have happen is insert a little bit of clarity into the point.
I need you there.
Yes, yes. In 7 seconds, please. Less than 7 seconds, move over there, please.
All right, we at this point have little less than 3 minutes left in this quarter. Arizona with a chance to potentially claw back some of this 6-point lead that Seattle has amassed in this game so far. Disc now to the middle of the field. Sheena Titcomb holding the disc, looking for a receiver. Finding Gellert. Gellert looking back to the middle of the field, seeing Julia Snyder. Julia Snyder hitting Steph Lim. Back to Julia Snyder. We're going to say those names a lot, y'all. Steph Lim now resetting, finding the inlet pass. Inlet pass to Margot Urim. Back to Steph Lim. Oh, almost got a piece of it by the Arizona player. Disc now is just outside the end zone. Cassie Wong sneaking that throw in to Sheena Titcomb. Sneaky, sneaky.
I do not envy the Arizona team trying to match up on defense against this Seattle team. You know, Steph Lim is usually a handler starting in the cutter space. Sheena Titcomb going from the handler space to the cutter space to the handler space. Trying to figure out all those different angles to mark is really difficult. Arizona starting to get closer, though. We saw an almost layout block on that lane, and here is the score.
And just sneaking inside before the sideline. This is now the 10th Tempest player to score in this game.
Tempest, we knew Seattle was going to see Seattle. They have a bunch of depth on this team, and they're really using it to their advantage, not giving Arizona one player to cue in on to try to stop. I like this shot particularly because you can see Rory Titcomb, the coach, and her sister Chyna Titcomb on the sideline. I don't know about you, but I would have a hard time being coached by my sister.
Yeah, no, there's no way my siblings and I could be on the same team. All right, Arizona setting up in that vert stack, looking for Aragon. Aragon looking to the middle of the field, hitting Jade McLaughlin. McLaughlin now resetting back to Aragon. Aragon looking for a receiver, finds a receiver downfield. That was Aaron Donahue. Donahue now holding the disc. Donahue finding Marilyn Reich. Reich looking downfield, just a little too far from McLaughlin. Again, a huge deep threat, someone who can get the disc every other, but just a little too much zip on that throw. Cheryl Sue picking up the disc now. Looking to the sideline. Ari hitting the sideline there. I am hearing a timeout called, but there is a D. However, the timeout appeared to have been called prior to the turn, and because the timeout was called, it is not a turnover.
Good job, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good job in that one.
Okay.
I wonder what you, as a coach, you're thinking in these late time in the quarter, timeouts. You have a chance to regroup. There isn't much time in between points or timeouts. You actually have a second to talk to your team, to regroup. What are you saying in this moment?
Well, right now, if I am Seattle, my question is, am I trying to score fast or am I trying to score slow? That's actually the question I'm asking if I'm Seattle. If I'm Arizona, I'm trying to figure out matchups. I'm trying to figure out how can I get the turn quickly. Again, clock is both your friend and your enemy. And we already see Seattle set up, waiting for Arizona to come on. The offense usually does set first. Defense then gets 20 seconds to be able to set after that.
Yeah, there are two players on this near sideline, and Arizona is set up not really guarding a person very much. They're taking the big spaces. I wonder if they're running a junk or zone and trying to keep Seattle trapped on this sideline.
Seattle able to get the disc in the middle of the field, finding Kawhi. Kawhi back to Paige Lynn. Back to Kawhi. Kawhi fighting Imbranovich. Pump fakes the deep look. This looks like a zone coming out of Arizona right now. Really, really nice find. Far side of the field from Kawhi. Back to the middle of the field, back to Lynn. Lynn holding the disc. Finding Kawhi up line. Trapped on the sideline at this point. Disc back to the middle of the field, and Imbranovich with the disc. Not a lot of pressure coming up from Arizona. Seattle, reset again. Imbranovich again with the disc. Back to the middle of the field. Kawhi really generaling this offense right now, finding Lynn on the sideline. Lynn with the pump fake, back to the middle of the field.
I think maybe they're trying to trap them on the sideline, but they are just letting those resets come back to the middle of the field pretty easily.
Lynn now with the disc. Back to Kawhi. Kawhi finding a little space, finding their sister. Amy now just on the doorstep. Back to Lynn. Lynn back to Kawhi. Kawhi back to Imbranovich. Little break, not quite in. Kawhi to Kawhi.
It looks like there may be a call.
I mean, do you think the elder Kawhi is just like, why'd you put it there?
That could be better.
That could have been done better. All right, the question I think right now is maybe there was a travel about where Amy Kawhi's foot placement might have been, and they're now going to the observer for a call at this point. We are trying to resolve calls pretty quickly. Kawhi will get the disc.
3, 2, 1.
That was the pre-stall, what you heard. Now Amy Kawhi holding the disc. Sorry, Hannah Kawhi holding the disc. Forgot which Kawhi I'm talking about. Imbranovich not in still, just 2 yards, 1 yard outside the end zone. Imbranovich now. This is a trap mark. Arizona trying to keep. And that is a score by Seattle Tempest. Linnea Sue, and ending the quarter with a score.
That stall count felt so long. That was maybe the longest 7 seconds we've had of that player holding the disc. I think we haven't talked very much in this game about the 7-second stall count, but in that case, Seattle really using all 6 3/4 of those seconds.
And only 5 players. Let's talk about that.
Also true.
There are 2 players. I was like, Do we have any other players? Nice little scuba look coming from Embranovich over to Sue. That's Sue's second score for today. And if you're paying attention at home, Seattle really starting to pour it on. Score now getting into halftime, 13-4. And that is 7 points scored by Seattle in this quarter. Unfortunately, only one for Arizona at this time. Arizona really, I hope, is regrouping, finding a way to be able to generate more pressure.
Exactly. We saw Seattle coming out a lot in that zone look at the beginning, making Arizona adjust into a more horizontal or more zone type offense. And later in the quarter, they started kind of defaulting to that and started to get more of a groove. But I think that they're going to have to start playing their own game and stop letting Seattle dictate what they're going to do on offense. They really have to start taking over in order to get more momentum in this game. But with the fans starting to pour in a little bit of energy, maybe the sun, you can see the shadows lengthening. You can see a little bit more energy coming into that Seattle side and also the Arizona side.
And we are now going to go down to the sideline, y'all, for a halftime interview.
We are here with Val from Seattle Tempest. We're going to talk about this game so far. Out of the first half, just wanting to know, what was the team mentality going into this game?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for the Tempest, it's always about owning our pace and working really hard on D. You know, and I think we have a lot of examples of that this half. Tons of Ds, and then trusting our teammates downfield. We have a lot of cutter connections, and that's what we like to build our offense around. So.
And then in the first half, Sharon Sal getting those goals. How does Seattle help cutters like Sharon Sal shine?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, it's all about trust. Like, our team is super built around empowering our players to do the things they're good at. So Sharon is fast, she's great in the deep space, and we want to reward her work. So putting those throws up when she's open, which is often.
Yeah. Definitely open in the end zone a lot. And then going into the second half, what should we expect to see from Seattle?
More of the same, honestly. More intense defense, more aggressive offense, continuing to work it, you know, up the sideline through various defenses and just punishing whatever the defense is leaving open.
Thank you. Yeah, excited to see what happens in the second half, and we will get back to the game soon. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mako, for the sideline report. And now, Katie, again, as we start to really think about the second half and thinking about how does Arizona get back into this game, again, a real sort of pouring it on coming out of Seattle in the second quarter, outscoring Arizona by 6 in the second quarter. What are the keys, do you think, Arizona's can get back into this game?
I think they need some energy. I think they need more excitement. Arizona seems to play best when they're excited about themselves and the plays that they're making. And I think right now that Seattle is forcing us into some small ball. And I think that they really need to get a little bit more energy and really unleash more hucks. I want to see more hucks.
Great. We'll be back here for the second half, and we'll see if Katie's prediction comes true. See you in a couple minutes, y'all, on the other side. This is the WUL.
We believe that women and non-binary athletes deserve to be seen and our abilities showcased for the world to see.
We believe in perpetuating Ultimate by establishing professional teams and developing future generations of players.
We believe players of all identities and backgrounds deserve an equal opportunity to be recognized and lauded for our achievements in our sport.
We believe
in sustainably and responsibly creating equitable and accessible avenues for women and non-binary athletes to join and participate in our sport.
We believe that being transparent, open,
and responsive to criticism is critical,
and that there should always be space
to fix our mistakes,
grow, and be better.
We are the Western Ultimate League.
Welcome back to the WUL coverage of our semifinals at the championships. We are down on the field now with Mako talking to Arizona Sidewinders number 19, Betsy Bash.
You want hot soup when it's hot out?
No, absolutely not.
All right, so we are on, and joining me is Betsy from Arizona Sidewinders.
I am.
So we were chatting about how before the game, Arizona Sidewinders were out here for maybe an hour and a half warming up. So how do you think that played into the first half and how comfortable you were on the field?
Sure. Well, we're cold-blooded reptiles, you know, so we always want to adapt to our surroundings first of all. But you know what? We love adversity, you know, like we want to be ready, we want to go for it. If it's cold and rainy, we'd be out here warming up too. So it doesn't matter what the weather, we're out here to like come out and get the job done.
Sounds good. And then during this first half, we definitely see LP Aragon moving the disc a lot for Sidewinders. What strategies did Sidewinders have to make sure that handler movement and flow was working against Seattle's defensive looks?
Sure. Well, one of our strategies was today was just for let people like play how they want to play, like no restrictions, you know, just like a lot of freedom. You know, we're calling really loose lines today. We're working together and just doing what we need to do. I think you've seen some incredible athletic plays today, and we certainly need to tighten up the execution. But I think that you see like moments of greatness and just like our flow, and that's the flow we want to be in.
Sounds good. And then that leads into the last question, which is what strategies are Sidewinders going to implement going into this second half? As you said, there's great athleticism. There always is from Sidewinders.
Sure.
So what slight adjustments might Sidewinders make in the second half to really get tighter on Seattle?
Sure. Yeah. Our language has been just taken down a half an inch. So, you know, not the full inch, just a half an inch. So continue to be incredible athletes and demonstrating what we can do, and pair that with execution. So that's going to be our play. So if you see us, you know, going a half an inch, that's what it is. So.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Jory. I appreciate it. Thanks. Go Sidewinders.
All right, now we're going to get ready for the second half. We're going to come take a quick break. But again, if you've been seeing the display, y'all, there's been a request to help with fundraising for the WUL. There's a QR code if you want to be able to give through Venmo. We are providing these streams free of charge, but we do need your support to make sure that this league continues to exist and thrive in years to come. See you back on the flip side. And welcome back to San Diego. We are here in the second half of our first of two semifinals between the top four finishers for the WUL. It is the Seattle Tempest playing Arizona Sidewinders. You are now seeing the first half stats. And look at the big statistic here, the break chances given to Arizona. And given to Seattle, really underscores why at this point we are seeing such a commanding lead coming out of Seattle right now. I'm not going to call it insurmountable, but an incredibly large lead right now for Seattle of 8 points.
Yeah, and I would just like to say that we might see a score like this in club or in other USAU Ultimate games, but this is a timed game, right? So there is no limit to the amount of points that can be scored in this game, only the time that which you can score them. And we have seen Arizona play some very fast Ultimate, right? Getting the disc absolutely launching it towards the end zone. And that is what we're going to want to see again in this second half as we see Arizona start on defense.
Now disc to Seattle. Seattle giving it to Steph Lim. Steph Lim looking downfield, finding a receiver. They're really good at using those inside-out break. Cassie Wong just outside the end zone, resetting back to Chena Titcomb. Chena Titcomb now finds slightly up line. Steph Lim just outside the end zone. Back to Chena Titcomb, striking up line. Steph Lim now just outside the doorstep. Quick little score to Sam Rodenberg.
That was so pretty. I would like to watch that point again from a bird's eye view and just watch those cutters seamlessly go from their offense into that end zone set, handler reset, and a clean offensive hold.
And as you just see this motion, again, we're just starting with the middle of the field, you just see a really good awareness both by Steph Lim of where their players are, looking to reset, and then striking so quickly upfield and giving Sam an opportunity to get an easy score. Sam now on the board with 2 goals for today. You know, they saw Linnea Sue, they saw Lexi Garrity and was like, well, if you got 2, I should get 2.
I think that there has a little friendly competition on that line. Seattle is not having a traditional offense and defensive line. They have 3 lines that they cycle through. We asked them to say, oh, can you tell us your offensive and defensive line? And Coach Rory Titcomb said, everyone does everything.
Now we see Arizona trying to get back into their vertical stack again, what has been very successful for them. We see an upline look. Now disc on the far side of the field, back to Eifert. Eifert now looking to reset, resetting back to Steiner. Steiner looking for someone. High stall count, really nice grab under pressure by Aaron Donahue. Donahue now in the middle of the field, finding Eifert. Eifert looking, seeing an open receiver, and there is the score. That was really nice movement. Very, very nice movement. That was Reich with the score.
Arizona, I think that might be their first clean hold of the entire game, which is exactly the way that they would want to come out in this. We heard Betsy Bash in the break talking about how they want to clean up their execution, and so far in this point, that's exactly what they want to do. And if they want to claw back into this game, now they need some defense. But really finding those, I think finally being able to run their offense, that vert stack, really helped them get into a rhythm in that point.
And now for Reich, that's 1 goal, 1 assist. And actually it was their second clean hold.
There we go. Even better.
Yep. Seeing a shot of Reich on the sideline. Arizona now back, trying to put a D line on, trying to get a D. Really, again, wanting to call back into this game, take away some of that Seattle lead that they were able to gain in the second quarter.
And Bash with the pull.
Disc landing just about 30 yards outside the end zone, giving Seattle about 50 yards to go. Disc is picked up by Kawhi. Kawhi looking, seeing Shira Stern. Stern now pump faking under, doesn't like what they see. Looking for Kawhi. Kawhi now sees a very open Ambranovich. Ambranovich finding Lynn. Lynn now trapped on the sideline, gonna get it off. Back to Ambranovich, looking down the middle of the field, seeing Kawhi strike up field. Kawhi now looking, sees Shira just outside the end zone, about 10 yards. Now gonna see the reset. Back to the middle of the field, Kawhi back to the far side. That's to Lynn. Lynn looking for the break around, finding Ricarte. Ricarte now back to the middle. Oh! You know, there was a rhythm to that I just lost.
There was.
Arizona now trying to get the disc off, higher stall count, finds a reset and Dunn. Dunn sits to the far side, finds Petty. Not quite sure what just happened there, but clearly some impact between Thomas and it looks like Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi. I think that was maybe like a cheeky throw into that upline space, and that's really hard when you have another defender coming the other direction. It's holding the disc a little bit too long, I think, on Arizona's side. Seattle defenders are really dynamic. I hope those players are okay. It looks like we have some...
We're about to see the replay of that throw, and it looks like Thomas was able to get the disc, but was not
able to catch it totally.
And we do see a substitution. Thomas has now taken 1. Seattle now with the disc. Kawhi, the elder, picking the disc up. Cheryl Sue as the reset. Disc now to the middle of the field. Ricarte now holding the disc. Ricarte looking for the reset, finding Sue. Sue looking to the break side, finding Kawhi. Kawhi looking for a break throw, doesn't get it. Arizona collapsing on the end zone line. Kawhi still looking to the end zone, finding a receiver, and I believe that was Shira Stern.
I think Melissa Dunn was so close to pulling the trigger and laying out on that one, really finding that lane. I think 1 millisecond later, and that would have been a D by Melissa Dunn. Seattle doing a really good job of finding those narrow angles and really highlighting their full team offensive movement.
I will say I was a little surprised. I mean, there was a really easy reset. That was a throw between two people. I understand. I mean, Kawhi and Stern have played together for many years. These are players who clearly know how to play together and took the throw. And again, in fairness, we're up here in the booth. That might have been a much bigger window than we thought.
I think also that injury play, sometimes even though no one maybe is hurt, but that shake-up a little bit can rattle teams. I think Arizona was really feeling in a defensive rhythm, trying to find each other, and that injury call just seemed to rattle them a little bit. Let's see if they can find a little bit more poise in this next possession.
Arizona again starting in the vert stack, but seemingly kind of moving away from it right now. The disc back to the middle of the field. Arizona looking for a receiver. That's Carly Steiner trying to hit the inside-out break. A little too far for Aragon and McLaughlin, both who tried to make a bid on this. Disc now back to Seattle. Steph Lim now picking up the disc. Arizona start with the trap mark, trying to keep them on that sideline, avoid the break. Lim finds a reset, and Erheim hitting the middle of the field, finding Chena Titcomb. Chena Titcomb with a very, very nice inside-out break to the far side of the field. That's Sam Rodenberg with the disc. Back to the middle of the field, Julia Snyder. To the far side of the field, Steph Lim. Steph Lim throwing it upfield on the doorstep. And another score for Seattle. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Sam Rodenberg.
I agree. Sam Rodenberg starting to rack up those goals. If there was one key to Seattle's game, though, I would say it's getting off of the sideline. They do a really good job of moving the disc quickly off of the sideline, where Arizona is getting a little bit bogged down on that sideline. I think maybe it would be that Seattle lives by the you have to spend money to make money. You got to lose yards to gain yards.
Again, that's Sam's third goal of the game, and if you were playing fantasy like I was, and I was allowed to finally this week, I did pick Sam Rodenberg to be able to score 3 goals in one game, and I got to tell you, it feels real good when your predictions come true. I'm sorry, I have a little dirt on my shoulder, excuse me.
Oh, yes, well, you are excused because I think that given the history of that player in this league, you made an accurate prediction. We can see Jamie Erickson coming with this pull for Seattle, hoping that the Sidewinders can get their offense moving and get some excitement and hype going in this game.
In this case now, Seattle coming back down in that 3-person zone, forcing Arizona to have to play sort of a split stack, horizontal stack. Again, if Arizona is trying to get out of this, they just got to keep holding the disc. Disc now with an Archer's hand, in Dunn's hand. Dunn back to the middle of the field. Cam Helm with the disc. Helm back to Dunn. Murphy now holding the disc. You can hear the D2 call. Caitlin Kaiser looking upfield, finding Dunn. Dunn unmarked, looking in the middle of the field, hits an open receiver. That's Liz Murphy with the grab. Dunn has just tried to take over this point. Dunn now holding the disc again. Back to Murphy. Murphy finding Eifert. Eifert finding Dunn.
That was a really great point by Melissa Dunn, finally earning the score, but really getting every other or every third catch there. We said that somebody was going to have to take over from that on that Arizona side, start the momentum, start that excitement, and I think Melissa Dunn may have just started.
Again, an excellent player in their own right. That is actually Dunn's second score of the game, and it's Eifert's second assist of the game.
Well, let's see that connection more, Arizona. As I coach up here from the booth.
You know, it's so funny. Both of us are coaches, so we're so naturally inclined to want to give advice.
So much advice.
Sometimes unsolicited, but advice nonetheless.
Yeah. Would people want our advice? Let's have us tell us in the comments if you want us to have a podcast and just talk about coaching decisions on other teams.
I don't know. We should open this up to the comments. Again, we're seeing a shot of Dunn with her 2 goals. Arizona trying at this point now to try and earn another break because that's what they need to get back into this game. Melissa Dunn very shy from the camera. We are seeing the pull coming from Arizona. Arizona's pull landing shortly out to the middle of the field. Seattle picks up. Looking to the break side, not available. Julia Snyder now with the disc. Looking off a very open, all right, there it is. And Branovich with the disc, looking to the break side, hitting Sheena Titcomb. Sheena Titcomb now centering back to Snyder. Snyder finding an open receiver downfield, that is Stern. Stern hitting Amy Kawhi. Amy Kawhi back to Julia Snyder. Snyder down into Branovich. Arizona looking like they're staying in a zone right now. Branovich just about 10 yards outside the end zone, looks upfield, finds Jennifer Ricarte for the score.
That was really textbook zone offense from Seattle. They saw the different look that Arizona threw at them, which I think they had to. They had to mix it up. Their defense, they have to try something different. But they were really calm with the disc, continued to move it, changed the point of attack, using many of their players, the deep cutters really spreading the space. You can see here that there's a lot of space behind the throwers and just really putting it into the space that other player vacated.
And again, that's Ricarte's first score, but actually now the 12th Tempest player to score on this thing. Again, just so you know, there are only 21 players playing here. So that means basically half of the Tempest team has now scored in this game.
Yeah, I would like to see how many steps Rory Titcomb walks in a game as a coach, because I see her up and down the entire sideline.
Okay, do you know that life? We both know that life.
I know, but I want to track other coaches to see if it's not just us.
Arizona trying to start into what looks like a vert stack. Eifert with the disc, looking for a deep receiver, not finding one, resetting back. Carly Steiner with the disc at this point. Steiner looking to the middle of the field, hitting Aragon. Aragon looking for the inside out break, finding Eifert. There is either a pick call or a foul call. There is a player on the field. It looks like there will be an injury call. One of the Tempest players is now vacating the field. Eifert holding the disc. Eifert, a very dangerous thrower, clearly someone who wants to look deep right now. And if you're looking the way Eifert was holding that disc before that injury call, Eifert was looking for a deep look.
I mean, with Dietrich about 10 yards beyond any of the other players, you can't really see in this angle, but from up in the booth, you can see that Dietrich is much deeper, and I called it because that is exactly what I would do. There is no way that anyone could catch up to the positioning of Dietrich in there, and that is the kind of score that we want Arizona to have. Those deep looks are so exciting, finally using those inside breaks just like Seattle was against them. Here's a taste of your own medicine, Seattle.
And that's Eifert's third assist of the game. Again, as Katie, you pointed out earlier, Eifert wasn't sure if they were going to play in this particular game, and clearly leaving their mark in this game already with third assist, Dietrich's second goal of the game.
Yeah, I do appreciate Dietrich with the flare of the bow on her head. That makes it very distinctive for me in the booth to see that player going deep, and every time I know there's an absolute athlete ready to catch that.
Is that what you're looking for? Is that what your throwers, I mean, your receivers need to do, is like put like something in their hair to tell them they're going deep?
I mean, maybe I am attracted to bright, shiny objects. When
I don't think you know anything about that.
But I think that as a commentator or someone on the other sideline, that identifying mark is good to know, because the other team has to take advantage. I've been told that she is a cheerleader, so I'm glad she's taking her cheer roots onto the ultimate field.
That is a fun fact. All right, it looks like the disc is out of bounds, going to be centered by Seattle. It's the very common refrain of Sheena Titcomb with Steph Lim as the dump. Sheena looking to figure out where they start the disc off.
Right there in the middle of the E.
Sheena looking for a break side, fakes the open, hitting Steph Lim. Steph Lim now into the back of the field, finds an open receiver downfield. Looking for the deep look, hanging. Great D by Dunn. Dunn says no.
I love that for Melissa Dunn, really starting to get into the defensive intensity of this game. That's what kind of energy, I mean, that's just the kind of ultimate I want to see. I want to see people making plays.
Seattle now immediately starting into that three-person zone, really aggressive right now, trying to trap Arizona into that corner. Disc floats in the middle of the field. Great grab by Sal. Sal just about 5 yards outside the end zone. Seattle with the disc, looking for a reset, finding an open player. Unmarked, unfortunately, for Arizona. And that is another score for Seattle.
It is another score. It is, unfortunately for them, not a clean score. Or maybe fortunately for Arizona, they're really trying to get into Seattle's head, trying to make them make mistakes. And in that case, they got the D. They just weren't able to convert it because Seattle really committed to, especially close to that end zone line, having the handler defenders work as a cup. It's very difficult to be on your own end zone line facing 3 defenders.
And I do believe that was Steph Lim with the score. I couldn't actually see the replay, but it was Sharon Sal with both the D and the assist. Again, you're seeing the replay right now. Disc hangs. Great grab by Sal to be able to snag that. Looking for a receiver. Finding, Lexi Garrity. Oh, of course it's Lexi Garrity. 3rd goal for Garrity of the day. Garrity and Rosenberg in the competition for most goals this game. Arizona now trying to get back. McLaughlin holding the disc, looking for a receiver downfield, resetting back. Finding Eifert. Eifert now really going to try and be the general. Hangs the disc. There is a call, though. It looks like there was a foul call on the throw. Eifert getting the disc back, or there's some discussion right now on that call.
So we're coming in foul contest or uncontested? Foul contest? Oh, what we're coming in?
It's your decision to contest or contest. No, I'll contest. Okay, cool.
Okay. So we're coming on 2-ish? Yeah. Okay, we're coming in stalling 2 with a pre-stall. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Again, starting with that pre-stall, again, a very unique aspect of the rule set. McLaughlin now with the disc, looking downfield. Caitlin Kaiser looking for a reset. Stall's getting high. McLaughlin with the reset. I'm sure that's a contested stall.
In this case, this is where I really appreciate the hand signals.
Check and dress.
So it looks like a stall, no contest.
Kaiser saying not able to get it off, giving Seattle another chance to pick the disc up. Seattle finding an open receiver downfield. That's Linnea Sue. Passing it back. Deep look coming. Just a little, not a little short. Great grab. Is that Ricarte? Yes, it was.
I am shook. I am shooketh by that play. The defensive player, Dietrich, made a grab, and on that second effort is where Ricarte got it. I can't wait to watch the replay of that. And then, honestly, sometimes we say after you get a catch like that, you know, conserve your greatness, but did not unhesitatingly through to the end zone for the score.
And finding Shara Stern for another goal. That's the second goal for Stern for tonight, or for today. Again, seeing the deep look, I really thought this was a D, and just great aggressiveness coming out of Ricarte. Ricarte just seeing a streaking. Another replay of this look. I'm so impressed with that angle. I'm very impressed that Ricarte gets that. And then Shira, just a master of recognizing how to take advantage of a situation.
I mean, really poise on the throw after a very physical catch. Also props to Dietrich for really playing that defensive position, playing it safely and closely.
Seattle now with the pull, holding a commanding at this point 11-point lead with just under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Arizona starting with
Petty centering the disc.
Looking for a horizontal stack. A bidding China Tecum, not able to get that disc. Looking for a receiver downfield. Finding a receiver. Now looking for the deep look. 2 receivers, better communicate. It is so unfortunate. Daniels did go up for that disc, but I think that if Daniels had actually laid off, that would have been a much easier score because you had Liz Murphy in the area as well.
Yeah, just a slightly easier angle, but I like the aggressiveness that Arizona is starting to take to actually head for the end zone. It's when they stay and hold it that they're really playing into Seattle's hands.
Seattle again at this point already a third of the way down the field. We have Erheim with the disc, back to Slim, Steph Lim, my apologies. Middle of the field, Cassie Wong unleashes a deep look to Ambranovich. Just a little too far for Abby Ambranovich. A great look by Cassie Wong.
Yeah, no fear putting that up to Abramovich, just slightly out of the reach of their hands.
Arizona now looking, and unfortunately for Ambranovich, just really heads up defensive play, giving Seattle the disc about 20 yards outside the end zone. Sheena Titcomb here to pick it up, looking at the front of the stack, looking for the break side inside throw, finding the inside out, looking for Rodenberg. Rodenberg hitting a Steph Lim, tries to jump into the end zone. Unfortunately, not there. Steph Lim looking back for Rodenberg.
Is that Melissa Dunn with another D?
I do believe you are correct.
Petty to pick up again.
Arizona now starting the big side of the field, looking downfield, finding a receiver. Oh, they were looking for Dunn. Dunn just dropped. Giving Seattle another chance at this point to try and score. That's Julia Snyder about to pick up the disc. Wasn't sure if Julia should or should not. Looking downfield, trying to hit the around. Really nice smooth around to Sheena Titcomb. Sheena Titcomb in the middle of the field, looking for the inside out break. Even before they threw it, I knew that was where that was going. But just a little too far for Cassie Wong. Arizona with another chance. The quarter coming to a quick end at this point right now. We have about 45 seconds left. I see the clock actually says 30. Dunn now in the middle of the field.
Timeout called. Use them or lose them.
This is true. And then now knowing that you get 2 timeouts per half, this is Arizona's first timeout of the second half. Arizona hopefully just trying to get some new legs under there, give some legs to try and take advantage of the last 30 seconds of this quarter, ensure a score before the end of the quarter.
Exactly. They have been doing a much better job on defense. Earlier in the game, we had talked about them sagging off of the mark, making kind of those looser defensive plays, and Seattle just absolutely shredding through them like butter. You can see this great D by Melissa Dunn playing over the top of the head of that Blady throw. But Arizona is playing much tighter defensive marks, and that's forcing Seattle to lose yards a little bit. They're putting on the mark a little bit sooner, pushing that stall count, and then forcing Seattle into a little bit, of angles that are not like miscuing a little bit. And we saw that turn there from Sheena Titcomb result in what Arizona wanted to.
It is still just beautiful inside-out breaks.
Well, it's hard to stop both the around and the inside, Manisha.
It's true, but in context, there's no one on the around, so the mark really should be shading in the inside out.
Well, that's just high-level coaching for you right there.
All right, Arizona starting in a vert stack. Seattle, unsurprisingly, coming out in that 3-person zone to start. Seeing the sideline right now, trying to help out, waiting for the disc to be called in.
Yeah, you have to imagine if you are either Onyx or Super Bloom, you're looking at this game later and preparing for the fact that Seattle's going to run a zone off of any of those stop plays close to their own end zone.
Nice find downfield. Stay with it, stay with it. Great grab by, who was that? 26. That was Alex Chang with the grab. Now we're seeing a downfield look. Bio almost with the grab.
That is a big yardage play by Arizona. However, there's only a little bit of time left, 18 seconds it looks like on the clock. So if they can get a quick score again, then they are going to be able to get another possession, or Seattle's going to run out the clock in this quarter.
I'm not sure if Arizona realizes that they have to try and get a turn right now of the next 8 seconds. We see Seattle currently trapped on the sideline. Disc going upfield. Getting the turn. Now, again, if you are Arizona, you have an opportunity at this point to play offense, but it looks like there's actually a discussion in regards to a stall call on the sideline.
You also said the word stall after 7 before you let go of it.
I still think you I heard a 6. I didn't even hear a 7. So
I said 7 stall, and then she let it go. I literally said 7 and the word stall.
We're going to leave it at contested. I only heard 6, and then I saw a release. Should we be coming in on stalling 6?
You're hearing the
That is right,
sideline
yeah.
help out.
Okay, great.
It will be a turn down there.
Great. Arizona now with untimed possession. An opportunity to try and get another score on the board. Arizona picking up. Finding Eifert. Eifert looking, unleashing, a deep look. Very nice D. I think that was Ari Lozano with the D just to try and disrupt the pass. That does end our quarter, or it should end our quarter.
We now see one of the observers signaling that this should be the end of the quarter. All of that excitement, sometimes discussing one rule, in that last case, a stall count, that it would mean that sometimes we forget, lose the forest for the trees. Really good defensive play there by Ari Lozano. I think it's important to play every moment, right? Sometimes the clock happens, sometimes the observers have different plays, things happen, but as a player you really have to pay attention to the game, this moment, and that focus from the Seattle Tempest, not getting lost in that, trying to keep playing the entire time, is really important.
I mean, if you're Bile right now, you're just kicking yourself, because that was a chance to be able to start to try and claw back in. I mean, Arizona gaining 3 in that quarter, but Seattle getting 6 in the quarter, and we're about to start into the fourth quarter. This is, again, the first semifinal of 2 at the WUL Championship weekend. We will see you back here very soon.
Hi, my name is Sheena Titcomb. I'm number 9 on Seattle Tempest. I consider myself a leader because I think I've gained so much knowledge from people that have come before me in various programs and various cities that I've played, and I benefited so much from learning from other people that as much as I can, I want to pass on that knowledge and help other people grow in the same way that I've been helped. One of the things I'm really motivated by is being part of history, and yes, it's very historic that the WUL is starting on the West Coast, but what I'm excited about is the build-up, and I want to be part of creating this generational shift in our society where we value men and women equally.
And welcome back to San Diego for the WUL semifinals. This is one semifinal of 2 we will be having today. This is the number 4 ranked team, Arizona Sidewinders, playing the number 1 ranked team, Seattle Tempest. And again, Seattle Tempest demonstrating why they are the number 1 seed with a commanding lead leading into the fourth quarter. 12 more minutes to play. I'm curious to see how Arizona handles knowing that this is a deficit. I'm not sure you could necessarily claw back this type of deficit.
11-point difference against Seattle in 12 minutes is a pretty big hole to dig out of. However, if that happened, I would be ecstatic about it. That is the kind of ultimate I would like to see. And also, I think the type of ultimate that Arizona, when they're firing on all cylinders, is absolutely capable of playing. They're capable of playing high-flying, fast-paced offense, really intense defense. But I think there's a couple in every point or every quarter that we've seen that have just floated beyond their fingertips, a little bit of a miscue, a little bit of throwing to another person. Seattle, on the other hand is to be commended. Sometimes when you are ahead this far in a game, your mentality can lapse, mistakes can start to creep in, and that is not the game that Seattle is playing. Seattle is trying to play a complete game. Here they are starting on defense.
Chena Titcomb with the pull. Disc now to the middle of the field. Aragon holding the disc. Looking for a receiver downfield. Going to the break side. Finding McLaughlin. McLaughlin with a great grab. Disc back to the middle of the field. Back to Aragon. Aragon now holding it. Looking for another receiver. Good grab again by Lippincott. Lippincott looking for the inside out break. Finding Dunn. Dunn now in the middle of the field. Looking for Lippincott and finding Lippincott.
Coming out of that quarter with a very clean hold. Seattle playing very tight defense, you can see on those receptions, making Arizona look at their second, third option, but finally finding those, finally executing on all cylinders and making those connections. Lippincott really finding that far outside space. Dunn with the assist, who usually likes to look to the break side. She had told us that her favorite throws are anything to the break side, but in that case, using the open side.
How could you not throw that?
I mean, you really have to reward that kind of cutting to your teammates.
Second goal for Lippincott. Always camera shy, if you ask me.
Yes, exactly. And that's the kind of energy we know from Cody Lippincott and a lot of the Sidewinders. They are just so joyful in their play, and I think that that's what's been missing, but it's something I'd love to see in the rest of this fourth quarter, to really see that joy of playing, because that's when they play their best. I want to see what they do with this defensive possession here. They haven't had many of them in this game, but really trying to make Seattle do something different, rattle the staunch confidence of that Seattle O-line.
Cheryl Sue now with the disc in the middle of the field, looking for the break side, very clearly looking for the break side, finds an inside-out break. That was to Erheim. Erheim now look at the disc, back to Sue. Sue now in the middle of the field, looking off Kawhi, looking downfield, back to Sue with another inside-out break. Really, really nice grab by Cassie Wong, and a deep look to Sam Rodenberg.
There's good. Your fantasy selection is looking better and better as this goes along. I think that Sam Rodenberg was second in the league in receptions going into this weekend behind Oregon Onyx's Zajon.
Yeah, this is the fourth goal at this point for Rodenberg in today's game. Again, 17 is what they started with at the beginning of the season. Cassie Wong putting that disc out, finding for her second assist, by the way, for Wong. For Rodenberg's, again, fourth goal of the day.
I'd be interested if we talked about there's more stats in these games. As we get more sophisticated with ultimate stats, I would be interested in seeing, especially in the WUL, where we have that 7-second stall count, seeing the average amount of time that each player holds a disc.
Well, the better players, in my opinion, would be holding the disc with less time.
Exactly, and I think that Seattle really moves the disc quickly, so I think that that would probably correlate to good offense. The quicker you can move and find that next player, the better your offense looks. The longer you hold it, the higher chance you have of a stall or making just a sad throw.
It was
there
an unconventional throw, actually, which is the most surprising thing about it. Steph Lim now picking up the disc. About 40 yards to go. Erickson back to the middle of the field to Slim. Steph Lim now. Nice break throw to Chena Titcomb. Chena Titcomb looking for the break. Not there. Steph Lim back for the reset. Chena Titcomb now trying to go field. Really nice switch by Arizona there. Steph Lim now looking for the reset. Finding Abramovich. Abramovich just nice, easy lead into the end zone for Steph Lim.
I think that's a really difficult defensive assignment when you have both Steph Lim and Chena Titcomb on one line. Arizona is forced to pick one direction. Do you stop them upfield? Do you stop them backfield? Do you stop them to the break side? Do you stop them to the open side? Because you can't take everything away, and whatever you give them, they will take. The other one can hit, and they just, I've had a coach say patty cake it, right? Easily move it back and forth down the field until something is open.
Seeing this replay of the very nice easy throw, and it's actually literally the same way Steph Lim scored the first time. Just an upline look, just to space, making it really easy. That is Steph Lim's second goal of the day, and Abramovich's second assist of the day. Arizona now picking the disc up, starting sort of a split stack. Disc in the middle of the field. Steiner finds Eifert. Seeing another deep look. Oh. Amy Kawhi just getting a piece of that, enough to start and startle the Arizona player from dropping into that disc. I think that was Bile once again in the end zone, just could not come down with it. Seattle now picking the disc up. Kawhi with the disc. Back resets. Back to Kawhi. Finding Ricarte. Ricarte to Songer. Songer with the inside out. Hitting Cheryl Sue. Now we are seeing another deep look. Arizona in position. Misread slightly by Ricarte, but also just really good defense by Arizona.
Petty picking up again. Lefty handler who had that big huck earlier in this point.
Arizona really struggling with these resets.
Seattle's defense is relentless.
Linnea Sue with the disc. Trying to hit Cheryl Sue. High stall count. It looks like there was actually a timeout called.
Yeah, I do hear kind of a strong whistling sound from the field. We are in the fourth quarter. They have 2 timeouts per half. You can, anytime a timeout is called, it will reset the stall count. So a coach maybe saw that stall count rising, was worried about a turnover happening, and instead decided to preserve.
And this is the thing, right? Because the timeouts can also be called by the coaches. The coach in this case, Rory Titcomb, behind the play, using the electric whistle, which is what you are hearing, to be able to let the observers know that a timeout has been called. If I'm not mistaken, it was when Sue had the disc, so Sue should come back with it, assuming Sue comes back into the point. But the stall will actually go back down to 0 in calling the timeout.
And it will come in with a pre-stall. The pre-stall, I think, is underutilized so far as a new rule set, where the upfield cutters can move.
So you're right, there is a pre-stall, but it doesn't come out of a timeout.
Well, fine. I think maybe it should. That static motion off of a stop disc is really hard to move. I was going to say it's easier when the cutters can start moving, which I think is utilized other places in this game. But, you know, it's a new league. We can also change the rules as we learn more about how this game is played, how it affects players, and how viewers like the rule set as well.
And certainly let us know what you think about this rule set. This is obviously a little bit different from what you might be used to or seeing at home, but one that I think the players have really enjoyed adapting themselves to. So in this case now we see new players, Snyder now with the disc. Far side, Abramovich back to Snyder. Snyder looking for an inside-out break and hitting. That was Gellert with the score, Snyder with their second assist of the day, and now it's Gellert's second score of the day.
And I think that Gellert was almost maybe, you know, not totally aware they were in, but just running good end zone offense.
A really nice break, though, by Snyder. These inside-out breaks are really powerful for Seattle, something that I'm sure they will be relying on tomorrow, knowing at this point they are likely into the finals to play the winner of our second semifinal. So if you are at home, there is another semifinal happening after this game. It will be our number 2 seed versus our number 3 seed, Oregon Onyx versus San Diego Superbloom, hometown team versus upstart Onyx. That will be a great game for those of you who stick around for that second game. It will follow shortly after this game. Nice pull again from Seattle. Disc in the middle of the field. Aragon picking up. Back to Aragon. Finding a receiver downfield. Nice grab. That's McLaughlin with the disc, finding Eifert. Eifert just outside the end zone, looking for a quick score, can't find it, now needs to reset, throws the disc up, just a little too far for Aragon, giving the Seattle with the disc back. Seattle finding Erickson on the sideline. Erickson looking downfield. Hitting Kat Songer right now with the disc, looking downfield, doesn't want to look for the dump, looking downfield, and great grab by Sharon Sow. Is that right?
Yeah, number 4 really getting up for the disc there, almost too high. I think they jumped higher than they expected to jump.
Really, really nice grab by Sow. Again, the person who had the earlier really nice defensive look back in that second quarter. That is Sow's 3rd goal of the game. 3rd goal. I like how the receivers and the cutters on Seattle are like, we don't want to reset it anymore. We just want to throw it.
I think we've proved that we can, move the disc well, but now let's, go deep and maybe start padding their stats. I think they want to have the most goals ever in a season. It's the first season, so they're trying to set a high bar for the future seasons of the WUL.
Well, still a great game by Sow. If that person was in your fantasy, you are doing really well right now.
Very much so. I like the music selection by the announcers here. I'm sure you can hear it through our microphones in the background, but really trying to liven that crowd up with some Mambo number 5.
Seattle still sticking with that zone. And just immediately coming up with the turnover. That's Sheer Stern. Just quick movement now. Cheetah Titcomb. Cheetah now looking deep. And a very nice interception by Arizona. Arizona now already picking up the disc.
Rest of the team not quite ready to have picked up yet.
Powell was like, we got to go. Powell has the disc now. Powell looking down to the middle of the field. Finding Kaiser. Kaiser now trying to get it back. Hitting Daniels. Daniels looking upfield. Maxfield. Back to Maxfield. Disc now in the middle of the field. Arizona just trying to move just a little too far of a throw by Kaiser to the far side of the field.
Trying to hit Dunn. I was going to say this is the first time I've noticed Megan Maxfield back in the game after they had that collision earlier with a head. So I'm glad to see that player back on the field looking fit again.
Inside out throw by Chena to come just a little off for Seattle. Arizona now with the disc. Arizona just trying to move quickly, get some yards. Kaiser holding the disc. Now we see a deep look unleashed. And that is a score by Daniels.
Exactly. That is the kind of energy we want to see from Arizona. Not giving up on that point, forcing a turn from Seattle, and really trying to hit that absolutely open deep cutter. I think that maybe Seattle was like, oh, maybe they're not going to cut deep anymore. Just kidding.
It was just a good awareness by Kay Powell just to be like, you know what? Let's just put it out there. And again, Arizona does have great receivers, and it's just a matter of giving them an opportunity to just chase some discs down. But really nice throw by Powell, nice grab by Daniels.
Yeah, as the sun's starting to go down, you may notice that there are a lot more shadows across the field. I wonder if that's going to start playing into people's ability to read the disc as they receive it, or certainly into the next game as the sun will be shining in players' eyes.
We are now basically just underneath the halfway point of the fourth quarter right now. Arizona with the pole, looking to try and see if they can chip away even a little.
What good hang time on that pole from Betsy Bash.
Kawhi now with the disc in the middle of the field, looking downfield. Really nice grab under pressure by Cassie Wong. Cassie Wong now looking for the reset. Found the reset. Hangs just a little bit. Right grab by Kawhi. Kawhi now hitting the break side. Finds the look on the break side. Cassie Wong with the disc. Looking for a reset. Back to Hannah Kawhi. Now looking downfield. Some miscommunication, but safe communication.
Right in the middle of there is Katie Winterbottom. Katie Winterbottom was originally a reserve player for Arizona. Caitlin Doust having to step out last minute with a hamstring injury. So Winterbottom finally getting involved in those plays.
And confusion or not, giving Arizona another chance to be able to play some offense. Looking deep again, you see Cynthia Thomas immediately going deep. Kawhi coming up with the quick, easy D, looking to the break side of the field, finding Wong on the break side of the field. Wong now unleashing their own deep look. Is it going to stay in bounds? Yes, it does.
It looks like it was signaled out of bounds by the observer. Really just floating long enough and stepping out of bounds there. Winterbottom in a hot pursuit.
Well, Arizona then with another chance. Finding Thomas in the middle of the field. Thomas looking downfield. Hits a reset to McLaughlin. McLaughlin finding number 8, Shelby Petty. Petty finding McLaughlin. McLaughlin now unleashing a deep look. See if it can land in the middle of the two players. Just unfortunately a little too far for Winterbottom. The angle of that throw sort of was the right, but just a little too far.
Yeah, I think maybe a good idea, but definitely not the execution that McLaughlin wanted on that one.
All right, Seattle now with the full 80 yards to go if they want to score. This is walked up to the line. Inside out break to Wong. Wong quite the distributor in the middle of the field, really the person you want to get and then let them just sort of make decisions downfield. Wong back with the disc, trapped on the sideline, looking upfield, throws a little too far for the reset, or actually the up line cut. Disc now to the middle of the field. Petty with the disc, Petty looking to Thomas. Thomas now with the disc in the middle of the field. They have about 35 yards to go. And a timeout called by Arizona. Arizona taking the timeout, likely to try and reset, put some new players in, give that D-line a little bit of a rest to be able to try and see if we can score another point. And again, whether you want to call it pride, whether you want to just call it, you know, gumption, Arizona continues to want to score, continues to want to have to play. There are still 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game. Seattle, though, with a commanding 13-point lead at this point.
Exactly. I think it's also worth noting that that highlight level play from Cody Lippincott came in a game late, right? When technically Arizona may not have had a chance to score or come back. So there's no reason to think that we won't see more exciting plays out of Arizona. They are not a team who gives up in a game just because they're down. I respect that about them.
I do too. So we're seeing the 7 players who are going to be on. It does include our, Melissa Dunn. And we do see a new line on for Seattle as well. New players on. I got to tell you, for those who are stat keeping, the ones that are helping us give you all this information, the timeouts are their worst nightmare because all of a sudden you have to replace everyone on the line.
That is true. It's also very difficult to tell almost until the point starts because there's other people on the line, there's coaches, there's all sorts of chaos for those stats keepers. We really appreciate all the work they do, which gives us commentators fun things to tell you about, like blocks leaders and points leaders and all that kind of stuff.
Arizona immediately looking deep despite the 3-person zone. And while well read, Ari Lozano there just to sort of disrupt the pass. Now Seattle with a chance to score.
These high turnover points, because we're not in the 2-minute mark yet, really take a lot of time off of the clock because in between those possessions, the clock does not stop.
That was an incredible throw by Chena Titcomb. And now the question is, will you be able to finish it with a deep look? That would have been highlight worthy. Jamie Erickson, that was your moment for SportsCenter.
I think that Jamie Erickson knows. Jamie Erickson recently posted on Instagram a almost plays I wish I could have back reel, you know, that last second where it was a D but the other person caught it or things like that, and that is unfortunately for them an addition to that, just one more step or a little bit faster of the fingers closing, and that would have been a really spectacular grab.
Helm right now with the disc. Arizona playing against the 3-person look coming out of Seattle. Seattle sticking with it. Nice little scuba over the top. Now the disc is moving. We are now seeing Arizona really spread a little, frankly, too far. Nice grab. Daniels right now with the disc. Looking for the player. Really nice decision to hold up by Seattle. Arizona trying to get down to the end zone. Dunn trying to get the disc back. Dunn now just outside the end zone. Sees an open receiver on the open side. And a catch under pressure by Arizona, except there looks to be a call. That is Meredith Bile. Meredith Bile has been saying, I've been waiting all day to score. You're not taking this away from me.
Exactly. It looks like the observers are signaling pick. The question is, was the pick involved in that play? It's a really helpful thing to have those hand signals.
Some discussion in the middle of the field. Bile saying, I'm not giving you this disc. You're going to have to tear it out of my hands. Some discussion right now, and again, you'll notice the clock is stopped because it is underneath 2 minutes. Bile, unfortunately, having to give the disc back. Melissa Dunn now about 12 yards outside the end zone.
Yeah, as best I can tell from the charades we can see from up here, is it looks like the continuation rule was in effect, that the pick was called before Dunn caught the disc.
It's going to have the opportunity to catch up during the pre-stop.
So this is the opportunity to now see that pre-stall in motion. It is meant to especially be used for pick calls rather than forcing players to try and figure out where they were at the time of the pick. Players are allowed to simply move. Disc now in the middle of the field. Arizona about 12 yards outside, 7 yards outside the end zone. Disc now in the middle of the field. Looking for the inside out break. Open side, look. And Bile ends up with the score.
That's okay, I like that for her. Really wanting to get that stat after they made that really great diving catch, rolling with the disc, and still very clearly saying, this was caught by me.
We have about 1:12 left in this game. Seattle with another opportunity. Jamie Erickson, you're going to look at this play, and you're going to be so sad.
Such good form, though, on that layout. So close. I think fingertips hitting the disc.
Now we're just starting seeing the replay of the score. Nice open side look. Bile with the score and the spike.
Yeah, really, really well defended also by Seattle, making Arizona work for it, and Arizona finally working with that possession, keeping the disc moving it sideline to sideline, and scoring with crisp precision.
Arizona now with the pull. Really nice hang time on this pull. Cheryl Sue coming down with it. Now to Hannah Kawhi. Kawhi back to Sue. Sue looking for the deep look. Pump fakes it. Hits on the sideline. Back to Sue in the middle of the field. Back to Kawhi. Kawhi looking downfield. Sees a deep look. Challenging Thomas. Thomas says, you're not going to get it and I'm not going to get it. That's what Thomas said.
I think Tom is actually forcing the misread there by going aggressively and early, almost tricking Kawhi into throwing there.
Wow, that is an incredible foot block just off of from Aragon. Now Sue just outside, 3 yards outside the end zone, looking to the far side. That's Sheer Stern with the disc. Back to, well, those two are going right back to each other. Sheer now back to the middle of the field. Kawhi with the disc. Looking for Stern, not open, now looking open side. Score is caught, I believe that was Ricarte.
Yeah, Kawhi to Ricarte. That was there. I do not know what is so exciting on that field from the Seattle line. Some teammates aggressively celebrating number 5 there. I like the hype and energy that we're seeing towards the end of this game. There are 30 seconds left in this game, so Arizona has, you know, essentially one last chance to hold. I would like to see a clean hold from them.
That would be great. Ricarte, by the way, that was their second goal of the game in addition to 1 assist. Really nice, again, complete game coming out of Seattle. So many players. And that foot block, that was such a great foot block. That's what they're celebrating. Tiffany Pham with the really solid, clean foot block.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that in the second when I was talking about clean offense, but clearly the foot block must be celebrated, and her teammates did not forget to celebrate that kind of defensive pressure and intensity.
It's only great defense that lets you to have good offense.
That is the truth, Coach Manisha.
30 seconds left. Arizona now with the chance to potentially end this game with a score. We'll give Seattle the disc back to also end with their own score. Disc in the middle of the field. Alex Chang drops it back. Looking for a deep look. And is that in? I do believe that that is in.
That is a score. That was a clean hold from Arizona. I think that was Bile catching the disc.
Catching the disc.
Really wanting to get past that Seattle zone, finally proving that they can do it, moving swiftly in there, finding their own players, not miscuing on the disc. That's the kind of offense that I think Arizona has wanted this entire game.
And it's Bile's second score of the game. This leaves 3 seconds on our clock. That means Seattle effectively will receive the disc. I know that there's a question of what Seattle will do. I understand that there's likely a agreement that Seattle will just drop the disc at the end of the score.
I see. Well, we'll have to see what happens. We haven't had many instances where this is the case, where maybe teams are quite as aware of how the clock affects the game. I would like to see what kind of things happen as well. Another pull from Bash.
Disc in the middle of the field right now. Centering. Songer with the disc. Songer hitting Garrity. Garrity now knowing that the clock is done. Seattle signaling, you can celebrate. Spike it up. And Dunn was like, you're not going to spike it on me. Thank you very much.
No, exactly, and that was a fun end of moment. I think Lexi Garrity was so focused on playing Ultimate that she was maybe a little bit unaware of what her teammates were trying to signal that she does.
Songer was like, what was I supposed to do? Songer was like, I'm not taking that turn. Exactly. This is a final score, y'all. This was a very handily win. Can't even speak words right now.
You got it. You have this. It was a handily won game by Seattle Tempest. From the beginning of the game to the end, they never dropped their confidence. They continued to make smart connections. They had great defensive plays and intensity. They mixed up their person defense and their zones. I think they are really have earned this 1 seed, have really put in the work to make this league happen. All of their players working together and celebrating. I think that Arizona has played a really complete game as well. They didn't have the execution that they needed today in order to make this game close with Seattle.
I got to say, though, if you're Arizona, you're excited that you had this opportunity to showcase your sport, showcase your team, showcase your communities. Again, as I indicated, 6 states represented out of the Arizona roster. And if you're Seattle, this is just one more step closer to a championship. This is exactly what Seattle came here to do. There's no surprises about what they want to do here. They want to run the table. They want to end 8-0. They did enter this game into this postseason as a 6-0 favorite. And now another win under their belt and an opportunity to sit and watch the second semifinal, which is coming up next between Oregon Onyx and San Diego Super Bloom.
Yeah, you can see all those Seattle players celebrating and thanking the all-female observer crew that we have for this weekend, really celebrating this sport and where we've come together as female matching players.
So now that you see the bracket, now Arizona eliminated Seattle, advancing to tomorrow's 1 p.m. championship match between the winner of Oregon and San Diego. Do know that there's actually a second game happening tomorrow as well, a third-place game between Arizona and the loser of the Oregon-San Diego game. That Oregon-San Diego game happening at 7 o'clock today, y'all. So go get some food, go use the restroom, walk your dog, say hi to your loved ones, and come back, because we'll be back here in 1 more hour, and we will have a second semifinal between Oregon and San Diego. Again, just a great game by Seattle. Really fun to watch. It's just, again, Katie, you kept talking about just some textbook motions coming out of Seattle in terms of their movement amongst handlers, just recognizing space. And we are going to be interviewing some players after the game. But I got to tell you, if I'm Seattle, I'm happy with this win. I'm happy with the way my players are playing. I'm going to go back and try and count, but I do believe 13 different players scored for Tempest. I'm not sure if my math is right. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, but I think that stat really proves that it was a full team effort from Seattle Tempest.
And now we'll go down. Looks like we have Ari Lozano for our post-game interview.
If you're joining us right now, Seattle just clinched their spot in finals with a score of 24-12 against the Arizona Sidewinders. So in this game, a strong performance from Seattle. What was the mindset going into that second half to make sure that lead that you had was maintained?
Yeah, we just needed to continue to play our game and run with our rosters. Our roster is super deep, and we just didn't take our feet off the brakes. We just kept going off the gas. Oh my gosh. I'm so bad at interviews. This is so awkward.
No worries. And of course, this is Ari Lozano joining us, one of many players on Seattle with amazing defensive looks, interrupting the Sidewinders' offensive plays. How do you think the team is going to implement that in the finals against whichever, either Oregon or Super Bloom?
I mean, we're just going to continue to play our game, play tight defense, look to all of our people going deep. We've got the handlers, we've got the cutters. Our roster is so deep that we will run whatever lines we have out there, and we're confident in our ability to win this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that you've definitely proven throughout the season that your roster has an amazing amount of depth, and going into this finals game, I'm sure everyone is excited to see how this will play out regardless of what team you're playing against. Yeah. Again, congratulations on making finals, and make sure you stay hydrated. Gonna be a hot one tomorrow too.
Definitely will. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again, that was Ari Lozano with the interview, working with Age Up, an organization out of Seattle, working with Seattle South End youth. I know Ari always says they're bad at interviews, but I think that was a great interview by Ari, really talking about the depth of this team. And I double-checked my math. It was 12 players, 12 individual Tempest players who scored. Your highlight scorers coming from Sam Rodenberg with the 4 goals. But we're going to hit your play of the game. And if you were watching this game, I'm pretty sure everyone knows what it was. And that was that sheer stern grab just in between 3 people. Beautiful layout, great form, immediately seeing. Landing just outside the end zone, and then hitting a striking Sam Rodenberg upfield. Oh, and Bronovich, my apologies.
Yeah, such a great play. We talked about that layout when it happened, but I think that we haven't highlighted is also that our camera crew is almost all female or majority female, and so our camera crew doing a really great job of catching all of the action today.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out to everyone who's helping behind the scenes, those who are here to make this event happen. We could not do this with the amount of volunteers that are here today, which includes UCSD's B team, which I believe is UCSD Berserk.
Exactly. It takes a village, and the village that the WUL is building gives opportunities to players, but also all of those other options in order to give players access and more high-level ultimate experience. So it's really exciting to see it grow, not just for the players, not just for the coaches, but for everyone involved in a broadcast like this, ourselves included.
Hey, high five.
High five.
Well, again, you're just seeing Seattle really starting to decompress. We do have an hour between our next game. Again, that is the second semifinal slated here in sunny San Diego. We are just sort of seeing some quick highlights of today's game, which again was a little bit of a barn burner if you are Seattle, but let's hope for a close game for the second game. These 2 teams, Oregon Onyx, San Diego Super Bloom, 2 powerhouse teams coming at you in 1 hour. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for supporting the WL. Hope you'll come back for our second semifinal. Be safe, be well, and we will see you in an hour.